no, not now. She said, I have asked Allah to safeguard you from any bad acts. It's because you have safeguarded yourself from any haram acts with other women in this world that Allah gave me to you. وَمَا عِنْدَنَا غَدًا عِنْدَ الْفُطُورِ. And our meeting is tomorrow. We shall break our fast together. Because Muhammad would often fast. He would fast one day in, one day out. And then he started talking to her again, and this is to the point where his teeth were showing in his dream, and he was laughing. He started laughing. He said he really wanted to embrace her, but she kept saying, no, not yet, Muhammad, not yet. And then he kept laughing and laughing until he woke up. And then he tells Abu Qudama, this was my dream. Please keep it a secret. Abu Qudama is like, I'll keep it a secret. I'll keep it a secret. And then Abu Qudama describes that in the next coming days, I kept my eyes watching this young man. And then in one of the days, the enemy finally had fully gathered and they came for the attack. They came for the attack. And while the attack was going on, Abu Qudama looked for Muhammad in the back. He wasn't there. He wasn't there. Muhammad had deceived Abu Qudama. He ran straight up to the front line and he started fighting with anyone. He started protecting anyone who was there. So much to the point where it was extremely obvious also that he had never fought a battle. Muhammad had deceived Abu Qudama. He had never fought a battle because he didn't even know how to hold a sword. But he kept going from place to place to place. And Abu Qudama kept trying to watch out for him, but the battle grew so weary, there was so much dust, that he lost sight of him. And then he said that I could not reach him. And at the end of the battle, he describes that we were fighting for a noble cause, we were fighting for the protection of our city, so we ended up winning the battle. But then when we started looking for our injured. No one else came to my mind. I just wanted to find Muhammad. I just wanted to find Muhammad. So he's looking around, and in the distance, he sees this young boy on the ground calling out with his arm raised, Ammi, Ammi, or uncle, uncle. He ran up to him and grabbed his head as if it was his son. He says, I grabbed him as if he was my son. I held his face close to me. That face that was once youthful, beautiful, handsome, and a body that was so capable. The horses had trampled him. The wheels crushed his bones. And his face, the only thing Abu Qudama could say, he says his face was indescribable. He was holding in one arm a piece of his shirt that had been ripped off. And he was breathing really, really heavily, as though he was dying. Abu Qudama held his crying face close to him. He said, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you war is a terrible thing? Didn't I tell you the battle would be fierce? You went and did this to yourself. Didn't I tell you you are young? This isn't a place for you. Didn't I tell you all of this? And still you went forward. Why did you have to go and do this to yourself? Abu Qudama is crying, telling this boy this. And the boy starts whispering now because he can no longer talk. Yeah, Ammi, this is what my mother raised me for. My father died doing this, and you of all people are going to deny me of this? When Allah says, what do you fear when fighting in His cause? Yeah, Ammi, this is what I want. And if only you could see what I'm seeing right now. If only you could see what I'm seeing right now. He sits with him for a little bit. And then Muhammad says, I do require one thing from you, Ammi. And that's to take this piece of my shirt. My mother will be very sad if she finds out what happened. So so when you meet her, when you return back to Raqqa, take this piece of my shirt and show it to her so it'll bring her ease that she knows that her son lived how she had raised him. So that she knows that she will see me in Jannah and that I will be with my father. So you can say, do not be saddened. Yeah, Ummi Muhammad. And then so you can say that I died and I will be with you together in Jannah for eternity. He said nothing else will calm her heart like that news. And then he kept going. He says, and I also have a younger sister. And my younger sister loves me way too much. The only way I could get her away from me was that I said, I will definitely be back. He said, ever since my father has passed away, she's been attached to me like anything else. I have not seen anyone more attached to anyone, someone in their life. So please, say soothing words to her. Don't show her the shirt. Say soothing words to her and try to comfort her. She loves me too much. And then Abu Qudama promised, and Muhammad started to smile. He started to smile again, just like in that dream. Smile widened to the point where his teeth were showing. To the point now where he started laughing. He said, Ya Ammi Abu Qudama, la ilaha illallah. Inni la ajidal madiya jambi jambi. In which he said the name of his wife in Jannah. He said the name of her. Her name is Maria, the pleasing one. He says, look my uncle. Ya Ammi, she's come down. She's laying next to me, holding my hand. She's waiting for me. Allah sadaqani wa'ada. Allah has given me what He has promised. Allah has given me Maria to keep me company now. My uncle, keep my secret. My uncle, keep my secret. And he passed away biting his lip. He passed away. And now Abu Qudama returns to Raqqa. Abu Qudama returns to Raqqa. And immediately, after every battle, the family members of the people who had been defending the city ran out to greet them. And Abu Qudama met the mother of Muhammad. She said, where's my son? What news do you bring? Abu Qudama doesn't say anything. Abu Qudama doesn't say anything. He hands her a piece of the shirt. And he says that he fought in the front line. He lived just like how you raised him. She at first didn't believe it, but then she saw the shirt. It was definitely the shirt of Muhammad. She saw the blood on it. It was definitely Muhammad's. And she then raised her arms to Allah and cried, says, Alhamdulillah, the one who has saved my son. I will now definitely be reunited with him and my husband. Right? And then, right when Abu Qudama was about to leave, he sees a little girl, maybe 7, maybe 8. He sees a little girl running, looking at all the soldiers. She grabs one guy, turns him around, looks at his face. No. Goes, flutters to another person, looks, nothing. And then he immediately recognizes this was Fatima. This was the sister of Muhammad. So he goes up to Fatima. He embraces her. He kisses her on the forehead. And then she says, where's Muhammad? I know Muhammad. I want to see him. I love him. Where is he? And Abu Qudama is in tears himself. He says, Muhammad says Assalamu alaikum to you. He says that he'll be reunited with you soon. He says, where's Muhammad? He says, he is in Jannah. You will see him soon. Or you will be united with him then. He says, Jannah, is he dead? Is he dead? Abu Qudama says, yes, but he is in Jannah. And he says, he sends a salam to you. Immediately, Fatima, she passes out. The mother of Muhammad comes, quickly takes Fatima and runs off. Abu Qudama follows them. He follows them up to their house. And they go in, she locks the door. Abu Qudama is knocking. And then he hears Muhammad's mother and Fatima's mother inside. Oh my Lord, Ya Allah, my husband died in your cause. My son has died in your cause, defending this city. And now my daughter followed her brother. They are with you. Please, don't make it so I can't be united with them. And then she cried and kept making dua until Abu Qudama he couldn't knock anymore and he left. He says to the youth, I have no idea what happened after that. But this is a story that I cannot explain to anyone. That I don't understand how it happened. And so from this, getting to the topic of Jannah, the title of this story is someone who desired Jannah. And this is an extreme example. showing that of what one boy did and what he made his life out to be. But I wanted to end off with two simpler examples. Two simpler examples. Because Allah says in the Quran, in which Allah says that He has made for us the best of stories so that they may bring benefit to those of understanding. And then, so there's another quick story in which it's a little bit more practical of what we can do to end up to be like Muhammad, or to have the mindset of Muhammad. And this was in the story of a Sahaba named Amr ibn As, in which it's narrated that him and the Prophet and a bunch of companions were just sitting. They were in a gathering, they were just sitting there. No one was talking, they were just sitting, waiting for the next prayer. And a man started approaching. And he was to the point where anything you said, he probably still couldn't hear. So the Prophet goes, that is a man from Jannah. And then all the companions are kind of amazed that the Prophet would go out of his way to say something like that. Because in the gathering are also righteous Sahaba like Abu Bakr and Uthman. But the Prophet single-handedly pointed out that person. So the next day, a similar thing happens. The Prophet says, a man is approaching who is a man from Jannah. And that same guy is there again. That same man. And he's going to remain unnamed for this whole hadith because he chose to be named. And then a third day, the same thing happened. One of the youths from the companions, Amr ibn As, he was young at that time. He thought, you know what, I'm going to figure out why this is the case. Why is this happening? That Rasulullah, every single time this guy's coming and saying, he is a man from Jannah, what does he do? So he makes up a story. He makes up a story and goes to this man and says, I've gotten into a fight with my father, and I need a place to stay for 3 days. Can I stay with you? The man looks at him hesitantly and says, fine, you can stay with me for 3 days. But Amr ibn As was a smart guy. His only mission was to be this person's shadow. So I'm going to figure out what it is that earned this title to be a person of Jannah. So he does that. And Amr ibn As is expecting this guy, the first night, he probably prays Qiyam all night. He probably stands up in prayer the whole night and doesn't sleep. The first night passes. He the man prays Isha and then goes to sleep. Amr ibn As stays up, thinking he's definitely going to wake up in the middle of the night and pray. He doesn't. The man doesn't. And then in the morning, it's Fajr time. He wakes up for Fajr, and he prays Fajr, and he's thinking, he probably fasts every single day. That's probably what it is. He sees a little bit after Fajr, the man starts eating. He's like, maybe it's just an off day. Maybe something's going on. He's feeling sick or something. So he keeps following him around. Maybe this person does charity all day. All he does in his spare time is earn wealth so that he can donate it. He sees that this man's just working. This man's just doing normal things, just like any other person would do. And he follows him around for 3 days, thinking that maybe one of the days was an off day. But he doesn't find anything unusual, anything out of the ordinary than any of the other Sahaba. And so he confesses. The last day, Amr ibn As is like, I'm not in a fight with my parents. I haven't gotten in a fight with my father. And then, of course, the man asks, then what are you doing? He's like, I was sitting with the Prophet, and he called you out as a man from Jannah. What is it that you do? The man goes, you've seen me for the past 3 days. You know what I do. There's nothing else. He says, is there nothing else? Amr ibn As is kind of dissatisfied because he didn't find anything. So he starts walking away, and then the man says, wait, there's one thing. Every night before I go to bed, I make sure to go through my day, to think about every interaction I have with other people, and make sure that there's no harsh feelings that I have towards anyone else, no animosity whatsoever, and then I go to sleep. And I do this every night. Amr ibn As takes this, he's like, that's probably why you're considered a man from Jannah. And then another similar story of when Rasulullah went up to Bilal and he told him, Bilal, what have you done? Bilal is scared beyond belief now. He's like, I didn't do anything. He's like, no, I heard your footsteps in Jannah before me. What have you done? So he was basically telling Bilal that you are a person of paradise. And Bilal goes, well, there's one thing. Every single time, right after I make wudu, right after I make wudu, I do 2 rak'ah nafil. And then Rasulullah smiled and said, I give you glad tidings of paradise, right? So, can anyone guess what are these things that define these people, that make them people of paradise? Anyone? Go ahead.
Consistent actions.
Consistent actions, that's there, but there's one other thing I'm looking for. You have your hand up or are you stretching? Anyone? It's consistent actions for sure, that's there. But another thing is, these people, they have something very simple. Their actions are concealed from others. Their actions are concealed from others. Even Muhammad, in the first story we did, his actions of why he does the things he did, for him it was avoiding haram, right? It's something hidden and he does it strictly with that intention. That's what separated them from everyone else. That's what separated them and made them people of paradise, because they did consistent actions for only Allah. So a practical thing on us is to make something up, like every single time I now go to the masjid, I'm gonna donate $1. Or I have a bad habit, I lie too much. I have a bad habit, I look at things I'm not supposed to look at. I have a bad habit, I do this. Every single time that happens, make it up with something good, and make it something that no one else knows about. Maybe I'll always pray to a guy before I go to sleep, or something along those lines. I ask that inshallah, that we can develop the characteristics of being people of Jannah. I ask that Allah makes it easy for us to help each other in order to earn this status. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Takbir. Takbir. Allah. Takbir.